news presentations about Liberia, Africa, and our one war. My name is Lyndon Tobanko in this segment of news presentation. Coming up in the headline, President Bouakai donates 15 vehicles fighting drug. LDA Chief Gerald Biago praises Bouakai, vows accountabilities in vehicle use. IPCC moves to establish secretariat ahead of November 15 election. Topo residents commend local leaders for constructing main bridge to ease flooding. Away from Liberia, Madagascar protester rejects President offer of dialogue and call for general strike. These plus many more development in our package. We're taking a short break. Upon our return, we'll bring to you our news bulletin. Welcome back, thanks for rejoining us. Let's bring in Priscilla George with our news bulletin.
President Joseph Bouakai has dedicated over 15 vehicles to the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, reaffirming his government's commitment to building a drug-free Liberia. Speaking at the executive mansion, President Bouakai stressed that the vehicles symbolize not only logistical support but also trust, discipline, and a call to higher national service. He urged LDA officers to uphold accountability, integrity, and patriotism, emphasizing that the vehicles must be used strictly for operational purposes. The Liberian leader reaffirmed that his administration remains resolute in the fight against narcotics, prioritizing youth protection and national security. Meanwhile, LDA acting officer in charge, Fitzgerald Biago, praised the president's leadership and pledged that the agency will enforce its mandate with renewed energy and transparency. The officer in charge of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, Fitzgerald Biago, has expressed gratitude to President Joseph Bouakai for donating 15 vehicles to strengthen the agency's operations. Biago said the LDA is intensifying its efforts to combat drug trafficking and abuse, adding that the vehicles will be deployed across communities to boost enforcement activities. He noted that the fight against drugs goes beyond logistics, emphasizing the importance of community involvement, intelligence gathering, surveillance, and discipline among officers. Biago assured the public of zero tolerance for misuse of the vehicles, disclosing that a management policy has been introduced to ensure proper use and accountability. He revealed that the LDA previously operated with just over 5 vehicles, but now has 21, thanking President Bouakai for his continued support through the agency. Citizens Movement for Change political leader Musa Beliti says the CMC is accountability when the 2029 elections arrive, urging citizens to trust the CMC to deliver genuine change. Liberia's economic woes hit marketers along Japan Freeway. Marketers along the Japan Freeway in Liberia are feeling the pinch of the country's tough economic situation. Many traders have reported a sharp decline in sales, citing high prices of basic commodities and reduced customer spending. According to several marketers, the economic situation has worsened under President Joseph Boaka's administration, with some comparing it unfavorably to the previous Ria Taylor administration. However, not everyone shares the same view. One marketer credits President Boaka for supporting her family's education, enabling her to send her children to school. The contrasting views highlight the complexities of Liberia's economic challenges and the diverse experiences of its citizens. Several residents of Tobo community have commended their local leadership for constructing a mini bridge connecting Block B to Block D. In an interview with Folk FM, residents record that years of flooding have made it nearly impossible for people to move freely within the area. Fanta Konate, a resident, expressed joy over the project, noting that the new bridge has significantly improved mobility and daily life in the community. Another resident, Maurice Kroma, praised the community leadership for their initiative and commitment to development. Meanwhile, Mohammed Sharif, a student and resident of Tobo, described the previous absence of a concrete bridge as terrible, recounting the difficulties residents endured before the construction. The Ministry of Transport has released a nationwide schedule of approved transportation fares aimed at reducing financial burdens and ensuring transparency across the country's transport sector. Addressing a Ministry of Information Addressing the Ministry of Information, the National Elections Commission says it is incorporating the use of technology, specifically artificial intelligence, into Liberia's electoral process. The historic move marks a significant shift from traditional election methods toward leveraging modern global technology. Held at the NEC headquarters on 9th Street, Cinco Monrovia, the workshop brought together members of the Board of Commissioners and senior managers. According to officials, the initiative aims to enhance capacity building and strengthen engagement on the potential of AI, promoting electoral integrity and efficiency. President Joseph Boaka has appointed Princess Cooper as Director General and Dogba Norris Jr. as Deputy Director General of the newly established Liberian National Tourism Authority. The appointments follow the passage of the 2025 Liberian National Tourism Act, creating the authority under Title 30 of Liberia's Public Authorities Law Framework. The Liberian National Tourism Authority aims to revitalize the tourism sector, promoting national heritage and rebrand Liberia as a distinctive global travel and investment destination. President Boaka expressed confidence in the appointee's leadership to draft planning, research and development programs within the country's growing tourism and hospitality industry. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection has reaffirmed its commitment to transparency and justice in the alleged rape case involving former Deputy Youth and Sports Minister Bryant McGill. According to the ministry, its legal team is working closely with the Liberian National Police to ensure due process, warning the public against politicizing or prejudging the case. The ministry assured that the investigation remains independent and free from interference, vowing that no stone will be left unturned in the pursuit of justice. Meanwhile, the ministry praised residents of that town for arresting 34-year-old Sando Kroma, accused of raping a 14-year-old girl who is now receiving medical and psychosocial care. The Liberian National Police has taken disciplinary action against several officers following investigations and recommendations from its Professional Standards Division. Police spokesperson DCP Cecilia Clark disclosed that in September 2025, officers faced suspensions, dismissals, exonerations, and temporary dispensations for violating duty, ethics, and internal regulations. Those suspended include Vivian Bodi, Petrome Ruben Kaswin, and Petrome Livla Harris, while dismissals affected Aziz Zinepe, Joseph Sherman, and Charles Walker. Five others received 6 month suspensions. The LMP also confirmed that exonerations were granted in some absentee cases, while temporary dispensations were issued for pregnancy, breastfeeding, and medical conditions.
A reminder that you are listening to Focal News War, 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, holding our one war. A recap of major stories we are closely following on this newscast. President Joseph Boakai in his 15th video, the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency renews commitment to fighting drug. Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency Chief Federo Biago praises Boakai, vows accountability in vehicle use. IPCC move to establish secretariat ahead of October 15 election. Topo community residents commend local leaders for constructing main bridge to ease flooding. In the Liberia, President offer dialogue and call for general strike. Let's take a short break. Upon our return, we bring you the actual voices of those making the news. Welcome back and thanks for joining us on this presentation. Liberia's economic challenges are hitting home for many, with marketers along the Japan Freeway feeling the strain. We now bring you the voices of some marketers who spoke to Focal FM. A reminder that you are listening to Focal News World, 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Let's take a short break. Upon our return, we bring you the actual voices of those making the news. Welcome back and thanks for joining us on this presentation. Residents of Topo community are commending the local leadership for constructing a main bridge that now connects Block B to Block D, and they say have brought great relief to the area. In an interview with Focal FM, residents recalled that years of heavy flooding have made movement extremely difficult, often cutting off access between sections of the community. Resident Fantaud Konante expressed joy over the project, saying that the new bridge has greatly improved mobility in daily life. Another resident, Maurice Crowman, also praised the community leadership for its initiative and commitment to local development. Meanwhile, student Mohammed Sharif described the condition before the bridge as terrible, recounting on how residents cut across during the rainy season. We want to sincerely apologize we cannot bring you that clip. House Speaker Rachel Cohn says that there is urgent need to upgrade outdated navigation and safety equipment at the Rabat International Airport to guarantee safe and reliable aircraft landing. He lamented that Liberia remains the only country where passengers celebrate perfect landing, describing it as a troubling sign for the country aviation safety gap. Speaker Kong said that the ongoing tour aims to identify and address critical challenges affecting the air travel safety. Meanwhile, Civil Aviation Director General Julius Dennis welcomed Speaker's visit but emphasized that adequate financial support from the government is vital to effectively resolve the long-standing infrastructure issues confronting the airport. The voice of Civil Aviation Authority Director Julius Denny. Earlier, you heard the voice of House Speaker Richie Cohn. The officials in charge of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, Fajera Biago, has extended gratitude to President Joseph Walker for donating 15 vehicles to strengthen the agency cooperation. Biago said that a vehicle will be deployed across community to intensify enforcement activity and support the LDA renewed drive against drug abuse. He emphasized that the fight against drug extends beyond logistics, underscoring the importance of community involvement, surveillance, intelligence, and institutional discipline. Biago assured the public that the agency maintains a zero-tolerance stance on vehicle misuse, adding that a mismanagement policy has been established to ensure accountability. OIC Federo Biago of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency there speaking. Citizen Movement for Change political leader Musa Belete says his party movement is not a typical political party, but one that credits citizens for their role in shaping leadership. Speaking to supporters, Belete explained that unlike traditional parties seeking praise from the people, he is acknowledging citizens' contribution and expect them to hold him accountable when he returns in 2029. Mozability there speaking to supporters in Bond County. President Joseph Walker said the issue of drug affects not only Liberia's youth, but also the nation's economy, describing it as a challenge that touches every element vital to national growth. Speaking at the handover ceremony of the 15th vehicle to the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, President Boakai emphasized that drug problem undermines the nation's human resources, natural wealth, and overall productivity. He cautioned against appointing individuals without integrity, urging all public servants to work with dedication and love for country. The voice of Liberian President Joseph Boakai there speaking. A reminder that you are listening to Fuka News World, 30 minutes of news presentation covering development from Liberia, Africa, and our one world. A recap of major stories we are closely following on this newscast. President Joseph Boakai donates 15 vehicle to Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency renewed commitment to fighting drug. LDH Federal Biago praises Boakai, vowed accountability in vehicle maintenance. IPCC moved to establish Secretariat ahead of October 15 election. Topo community residents commend local leadership for constructing main bridge to ease flooding. And away from home, Madagascar protesters reject President offer of dialogue and call for general strike. Let's go over to Priscilla George to fill us in with our international development. This is how we come to the end of our newscast, but before leaving you, a recap of major stories we are closely following. President Joseph Boakai Dunne's 15th visit to Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency renewed commitment to fighting drug. LDA Chief Federa Biago praises Boakai, vows accountability in vehicle use. IPCC moved to establish secretariat ahead of October 15 election. Topo community residents commend local leaders of constructing main bridge to ease flooding. And away from Liberia, Madagascar protested. Reject President offered of dialogue and called for general strike. Priscilla George brought to you the news bulletin. Teta Roberts has controlled and coordinated all of our sign. On behalf of our entire news crew, I presented. My name is Lyndon Toba. Good evening.